What's going on, everyone? It's e-bike speed review day, one of my favorite days. I love doing this because if you're e-bike shopping, this gives you a great little cross section of the types of bikes that are available in the market. We got everything here. Small folding bikes, dual motor bikes, dual battery bikes, moped style, commuter style. It's all right here. So you're going to get a good look at a variety of different bikes today at a variety of different price points as well. And I'm going to give you just a 60-second rundown on each one. Some of the specs maybe help you out if you're e-bike shopping on, features that you wanted that you didn't even know you wanted, how much money you want to spend, what you get for your money, and give you a better feel for what to buy. Let's do it. All right, folks, we got a pretty wide selection here to take a look at. And I've done individual reviews on each one of these bikes. So if you want more detailed info, you can search my name, just put Citizen in the bike name. It'll pop right up for you. And I'll link all the bikes here below so you can find them easily. And then if I have any discount codes that are active for these, I'll include those as well. And I've got them roughly in price order. So let's start here with the Gotrax bike. This is $899. I think I have a $50 coupon code for this, so check the description. But 20 by 3-inch tire, so sort of fat tire. I really like the 3-inch wide tires because they still feel nimble, but yet they give you a good footprint. It does have a front suspension fork. You get a front headlight, rack and fenders are included. The rack is actually welded onto the bike. It's got 7 mechanical gears and a 500-watt rear hub motor, which is honestly surprisingly torquey. This bike gets up and goes pretty darn well. The top speed on the throttle is 20 miles an hour, and if you're pedaling in pedal assist 5, it'll kind of unlock it to go 25 miles an hour. So really great speed out of a small folding bike, ready to ride. It weighs about 62-ish pounds, and your battery pack is inside the frame here. It's a 10 amp hour battery pack, I believe, 48 volt system. It does not come with the suspension post. I added that just for comfort, but this seat is really plush. It does have a nice looking display, a twist throttle. I added these grips and mirrors, but it does come with some accessories. It comes with the phone mount, and it comes with the lock, which is right here, a folding lock. Has hydraulic disc brakes, and of course it folds. So this is your portable, foldable option. You don't want to grab a bike you want to take on vacation or to the campground, or you just want to jitney around the neighborhood. Something like this works really well, and you get pretty nice stuff for $899. So great option for someone who's a smaller stature or just wants the portability of a bike with some pretty decent speed too. All right, let's move this one out of the way so we can take a look at the next. All right, next up is the Gforce RS with magic suspension. So you got a front suspension fork, and then you also have a bunch of shocks here in the back. You have like 4 suspension shocks on the back end. The suspension's okay. I mean, the seat is like really super soft, which helps out. And the suspension does work. It wasn't like super duper plush with a ton of travel, but it definitely worked better than a hardtail for sure. And this is at the lower price point. This bike is starts at $1299, depending on the battery size you get. The battery is semi-integrated into the frame right there. This is the 25 amp hour version. So this one's $1499. They also make a 15 amp hour version. 20 by 4 fat tires. It does have hydraulic disc brakes that worked really well. 7 mechanical gears and a 750 watt rear hub motor. Top speed on this bike was about 28 miles per hour, and it does have a really low seat height. So this is a great one for shorter riders. I think I commented in the video, I think somebody 5 feet tall could ride this because the seat height goes down to, gosh, I think it's like 30 inches. It goes really low. It's kind of a smaller frame bike. I did feel a little large on it at 6 feet tall. But these e-bikes can get pretty large, and this one's definitely on the smaller side of the size spectrum. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit smaller, easier to manage, this Gforce RS might be right up your alley. Again, another just good around the neighborhood, around town cruiser style bike, good size battery pack in there, so give you a good range. I did try to off-road it. It struggled a little bit on the really steep off-road hills. It has more of a gradual takeoff and a smaller power delivery down low at low speed, so keep that in mind. If you're gonna try to climb up mountain hills, I don't know, this is one for that, but if you want to zip around town 20, 25 miles an hour, yeah, this one will do that all day long. But it was a nice, comfortable riding bike with decent speed at a pretty cheap price. But let's scoot this one out of the way, take a look at the next. All right, next up is the Freesky Swift Horse 26 by 4 fat tire bike. So getting into the bigger bikes now. Full suspension on this one. We got a big double crown front downhill shock on it. I think it's like 120 millimeters of travel. And then the rear suspension here in the middle. It is non-adjustable though. And I did find that rear suspension be a little bit stiff for me at 180 pounds, so keep that in mind. But full suspension bike for, I think it's $1649, On this bike, great price. The thing looks beautiful. It's kind of this dark metallic green paint with chrome and gray accents on it. The rack and fenders are included. It is a 1,000-watt rear hub motor, and it is quite powerful. Big speed out of this one, especially for that price tag. Going 35 plus miles an hour at 1,600 bucks is pretty darn good. It's got 4-piston hydraulic brakes on it. It's got 7 speeds, 7 mechanical gears. The screen, it's got the security lock. It comes with a NFC card, near field communication. So to turn it on, you just kind of hold the card up to the screen and it'll come on. Now, if you don't have this card and you try to turn it on with the button over here, it makes you put in the passcode. So kind of a little security feature there and cool party trick as well. But really some, I think, above par things like that. The NFC card, 4-piston brakes, full suspension, big power motor speed, all at a pretty reasonable price. So if you're looking for, I guess, the speed and power at kind of a budget price tag, that's where this one might come in. But great looking bike. I really enjoyed the speed a lot on this one. It's 20 miles an hour on the throttle. It's got a thumb throttle, takes you to 20 only. And then if you want the full power, you got a pedal, but it's a cadence sensor. So you just have to rotate the pedals and you'll get all the power out of it. And they do sell a throttle unlock controller where you can kind of de-restrict your throttle. So they do have that option available online, but pretty cool offering from Freesky. All right, let's keep going up the line. Next is going to be Wallke. Alrighty, this is the Wallke H7. And we're moving up the price scale here. We're now into the $2,000 range. I think this one's $2,099, I believe. And it's a 20x4 fat tire on it with mag wheels now, not spoke, mag wheels. It's got hydraulic disc brakes. We've got a absolutely enormous battery pack. This is your bike for range. You want range? Here you go. 60 amp hours. That battery weighs 30 pounds. It's huge. I've never had a bike with a battery this big. I rode it mostly throttle only for 100 miles. 100 miles with minimal pedaling. Range. That's this thing's claim to fame. I mean, it's got other good features though. I mean, it does have full suspension. It's pretty stiff, but it is there. And it has dual motors. This is a dual motor bike. These are both, I think, 1,000-watt motors. One in the front, one in the back. So it's got really good power. Good hill climb power, good acceleration power. It's not throw you back in your seat kind of power, but it's strong. So a good combination there of strong power and just really unlimited range. It's got both a headlight in the front here, also tail light and brake light in the back, and the rear rack is, you know, part of the frame, welded in the frame, really strong. I wouldn't hesitate to put a full-grown person on the back of this. This is really robust. It comes with a rear seat. You can also take this off and just make it a rear rack. Up here on the display, you can when you turn this thing on, you can toggle through the all-wheel drive settings using the I key. And there's a little, it's hard to see, there's a little indicator there showing you what wheel is lit up orange, and then you just hit the I button and it'll toggle through rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and then there's another feature where it's kind of like a tamed down version of all-wheel drive. It makes it, it's just a really manageable bike to ride. I've ridden a lot of all-wheel drive bikes. Some of them have so much crazy front wheel spin that they're hard to drive. Not the case on this one. I pretty much kept it in all-wheel drive mode all the time. And unlike some other bikes with this general shape, it's almost like moped style shape, but it has an actual bike seat that you can raise and lower instead of just having the bench seat, which you'll see later on a bike. But really cool bike from Wallke, one to check out if you're looking for decent power and just crazy range. All right, moving on to the next. Next up is the Stellar Falcon. Here's the name, Stellar Falcon from Euphree. And where to start on this thing? Absolutely beautiful bike, first off. Great frame on it. It's one where all the welds are smooth and it just, everything just flows. It looks so nice. This is the dark blue color and it's the step through frame. They also make this bike in a mid step. But Euphree just does an amazing job with their attention to detail, and they put better parts on the bike. So we're jumping up in the price here. I think this is around $2,100 for the Stellar Falcon, but you get an air fork up front, of course hydraulic brakes. You got nice Johnny Watts sort of fat tires. They're, I think, 2.8 inches wide, so a good footprint, but still like very nimble feeling bike. The roughly 3-inch wide tires are becoming my favorite. It used to be the fatter the tire I could get, the better. Now I realize how hard those are to drive, really. And then the rolling resistance is just huge on the fat tires. But when you got 3-inch or 2.8 like this, it feels incredibly nimble. They hide all of the wiring right here. It's wrapped up so nice and neat. And then it goes down in the stem. Even the brake line is down inside the stem. It's such a clean looking bike. You can tell from the way I'm talking about this thing, I really like it. The rack looks beautiful. The fenders are nice. They're metal, but they're thicker than normal, so they don't get bent up. It comes with this standard, a suspension seat post, Suntour suspension post, an adjustable handlebar stem, really nice grips, rubber velo grips, this classy bell. Best bell tone ever, right? Trigger shifters, 8-speed, bright headlight, small off to the side, but color display, nice looking display. And it's very programmable. It has this ability to be either a torque sensor or a cadence sensor. You can program it to do either one, and it actually works. It functions. Very impressive. I don't know of any other bikes that do that. And that's a really cool feature to have because people are kind of torn on that issue. You know, do I want torque? Do I want cadence? Here you go. This one does them both. Battery pack is hidden and integrated into the frame right here. I think it's about a 15 amp hour battery pack. It's got a rear hub motor, 750 watt, decent power to this. I can't remember the top speed off my head, probably 30 something miles an hour, 30, 31-ish. It does have front and rear basket options. You can see the attachment point here for front basket. And then the rear, it's got this MIK system, I think it's called, where the basket just kind of clicks in there. They sell some great accessories for this bike. And it's, how to describe this? It's classy yet rugged. I mean, if it has street tires on it, I'd say more classy, but it's got these Schwalbe tires on with a little bit of tread, which gives it a little bit more aggressive look. And I know Euphrie's trying to position this as, hey, this can be around the town cruiser commuter bike, but then you can also take it off-road on the weekends as well. I think that's definitely possible with this one. But just a really nice offering from Euphree. You know, it's not the cheapest bike out there, but you know what? You get what you pay for. And I think this is worth its price tag. Always something to disrupt my camera work, holy cow. But when you've seen and ridden as many e-bikes as I have, it's just nice to see a company that put this much thought into the bike. I think if I had to gift a bike to someone and I really wanted to impress, this would probably be near the top, if not the top of my list. But that's the Stellar Falcon. Let's move on to the next. Now for the wired cruiser bike, I featured this one a fair amount on my channel, coming in at a price tag of $2,000 plus shipping. So this one's probably around $2,200 to get this to your doorstep. And this is the cruiser model. They also make the Freedom, which is the step over model. Same identical powertrain on each one, which is a 60 volt battery. Two of them, really. You get a 60 volt, 20 amp hour here in the frame. And then I don't have it on the bike, but they also give you a second battery pack, 60 volt, 15 amp hours in the rear rack. So an incredible amount of battery capacity and also high voltage on the wired bikes. This cruiser bike was recently redesigned to add the full suspension. So now you get an adjustable D&M air shock right there. It's a really nice ride. A lot of travel in the rear suspension. Beautiful frame design. I love the green. From the moment I saw it, the green has captivated me. This beautiful lime green, it really just pops. You stand out. Definitely stand out on this bike. It's 26x4 fat tires, RST guide forks up front with the through axle. You got 4-piston Gemma brakes on it, really good brakes. Twist throttle right hand right here. Can turn your display on for you. Get a sense of what that looks like. Probably can't see it in the sun, but nice little setup here. Very comfortable with the tall BMX style bars. They come up nice and high, which I always appreciate. Seat height on this one, I believe the minimum is like 33-ish inches. Big, huge chainring on the front, 56 tooth, and then I believe it's 11/28 in the back. And you need those gearing because this thing goes 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour on the throttle. And you can actually still pedal at 40 miles an hour too. There's still feeling in the pedals due to that gearing. It's got a 45 amp controller, and motivating you down the road here is a 1500 watt motor that peaks at honestly like 3000 watts. It's just a crazy amount of power when you unlock this thing. I mean, it's going to come shipped to you as class 2, of course, and then you can go in the settings and unleash this beast if you want. Headlight, tail light. It's a cadence sensor e-bike, and if you're looking for speed and power, this one's definitely got some good bang for the buck. But all that speed and power, I mean, it's not for everybody. You got to be able to handle that. You got to be careful with that power. And also, too, this is not a small bike. I'm certain that it does not come through on camera, but this is a large bicycle. I hear it over and over and over again. People telling me that they ordered a bike, showed up at their house, and the thing is absolutely enormous. They didn't realize how big it was. These 26x4 fat tire bikes are huge. These are not like a store-bought mountain bike. This is a big bike, so be prepared for that. I mean, when you got both batteries on this, I believe it weighs 105 pounds. It's a monster of an e-bike. But I have done quite a bit of content on the wired bike, so you can check my playlist for that. But let's move on to the next bike. All right, on to the Rollroad Emma 3.0, kind of a moped style bike. It is a step through frame, so easy to get off and on. It is dual battery bike. You got a battery right here in the frame, which is 52 volt, 20 amp hour. And then one hiding under the seat, same thing, 52 volt, 20 amp hour. A lot of range. I think I got 60 miles out of this thing, roughly, with pretty minimal pedaling. And I really feel this is one of those bikes you're gonna ride kind of like a little miniature motorcycle around town, because it's a single speed. It does have a derailleur hanging here. They told me that's just for chain tension, but it is a single speed bike, no gears to shift through, but good power. It's a Bafang Pseudo motor, 1500 watt motor, and that's the peak. It's designed, they said, for longevity. It's a 1500 watt motor and it peaks at 1500 watts. So you're never overexerting this motor, and you shouldn't have any motor failures on it. But decent power out of it and decent speed out of it. I think it goes 35, 36-ish miles an hour, which is pretty darn good. It does give me the feel it's set up like a little mini motorbike. You got this big, huge headlight on the front and actual front blinkers, as well as blinkers on the back too. They're kind of hard to see. I got the optional case on here, and the taillight is right underneath here. And it does have turn signals, brake lights, tail lights. They are a little bit obstructed with the case. This is an aftermarket accessory they sell, which is a pretty cool little feature. I'll open it up for you. It's kind of got this leather lining in it. It looks sharp. It's just plastic, but I think it's pretty neat. It's pretty handy. If I'm going somewhere to the store and I need to get something, this is the bike I take. It's just super comfortable, good power to keep up in traffic, easy to get it off and on, good little cargo basket. I have the optional 2-person seat. They did come with like a single person seat, and when you have that, you just slide the rear rack back to the bolts and it kind of shifts this way. And then I have the passenger pegs on there too, and you can ride 2 up on this perfectly fine. The suspension can handle that. These big shocks, I had my wife on the back. She's not very heavy, but you know, it was no issue for this bike to get us both down the road. The suspension felt great, power felt good, and it actually handled a lot better than I thought it would with an extra person on the back. I didn't really notice that she was back there. Now this is a torque sensor bike, and the torque sensor, you really, really have to push on it, if I recall correctly. You got to really put some effort in to get the power out. That's why I rode mainly throttle only on this one. 20 by 4-inch fat tires. They're the CST Scout. I love these tires. I just like that tread pattern, big blocky tread pattern that gives you a little bit of grip, but it's pretty quiet on the street. You got hydraulic brakes, nice tall bars. This is another one that has, I don't have it stuck on here, but it's got the NFC card where you just swipe the card over the screen and it powers on the bike. There's your turn signals, horn, but nice little setup. I added some different grips on mine and added some mirrors, and I'll probably do a little bit more to this one. I'm probably gonna keep this one around for a little bit. I like it a lot. There you go, Rollroad Emma. If you're looking for a kind of little around the town errand running bike, that's what I like it for. But I got one more to show you. Let's take a look at that one. Now we're at the top of the price point of this lineup. I think this one's around $2,400 for the Furious EMX Ultimate 60 volt bike. Crazy amount of power in this one. 20 by 4 fat tires, the CST Scouts again. Love that tire. It's in mag wheels, and I got to show you the brake disc over here. It's like this oversized, extra thick, two-tone, 203 millimeter brake, Tektro Dorado 4-piston calipers. Great braking system. You got RST guide forks. It is dual motor, so that's a motor right there. 750 watt motor, 60 volt, and then rear, same thing, 60 volt, 750 watt motor. Battery pack, 60 volt, 20 amp hour, semi-integrated into the frame. You've got full suspension, air shock, adjustable, surprisingly plush. It has a lot of travel, a lot of movement in it. You can see the little rubber gasket thing there, how much travel I'm getting. It's a really soft ride, and it's a small bike. So if you're wanting big power, but you're a smaller person, there you go. This one is in that 37-ish mile per hour, and it gets there in a hurry. The dual motors just give you the strong, amazing pull off the line. This is the one. You want to be set back in your seat. There's 2 bikes here that do that. The Wire does it, and this one. This will put you back in your seat as it takes off, and you know the front wheel will just be doing a burnout as you scream away from the line. It's a lot of power. It is Furious. Great name for it. This is a Furious bike. This is not for everybody. I would not put a beginner on this bike. If you've never ridden an e-bike and you're at my house, you ain't getting on this one because the power can be dangerous, really. This has gobs and gobs of acceleration power, very torquey, very strong on hills. That's the feature. That's the standout feature of this. It's just the fun power of it. I love this thing just because that's what I look for out of an e-bike. I don't commute on them. I don't ride them to save the planet. You know, I ride it for the fun of riding a little electric toy. And man, does this thing give you a lot of fun. It does have an adjustable handlebar stem and tall BMX bars on it. Toggling through the all-wheel drive is the same as on some of the other ones. There's an I key here. You just hold the I key down and it'll go from rear to front to both. So it's a little bit cumbersome switching quickly between the drive modes, but it can be done in a couple seconds. What else on this one? Very soft seat. DDK memory foam, extra wide seat, super soft. Love that. Rear rack, fenders included. Headlight, taillight, turn signals, full lighting package. It's got 7 speeds on it, I believe. Yep, 7-speed bike. It is a torque sensor. Torque sensor functions fantastic. It is very sensitive to the amount of pressure you're putting on the pedal, and it delivers power accordingly. So if you jump on those pedals, this thing takes off like a banshee. But definitely one of the smaller frame bikes could accommodate a shorter rider. But also a fairly heavy bike. I think this one's clocking in around the 105-pound mark. So pretty stout little guy. Okay, now it's time for all of you to let me know in the comments which one of these bikes stood out to you. Was it the small price tag and portability of this Gotrax? Budget-friendly, comfortable, easily accessible Gforce RS? Bargain speed of this Freesky Swift horse, very fast. The good power and the incredible range of the Wallke H7. Versatility, craftsmanship, attention to detail of the Euphree Stellar Falcon. Speed and power, comfort of this wired cruiser bike. Versatility, convenience, cargo, dual battery of the Rollroad. Or the outrageous power, fast acceleration, hill climb power, accessibility of this EMX Ultimate 60 volt. So many options to pick from out there. I know the choice is hard. I hope you found this video helpful to give you an idea of what's possible in the marketplace, where you might want to put your money. If you have questions about any of these bikes, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer if I can. Hope you found this enjoyable to watch and informative. If you did, consider hitting subscribe. Come back for more. Thanks.